Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? So I was going to call myself doing a top 10 prospects. I was going to rate the 10 top prospects, and I'm not even going to try to attempt it, man. There's just way too many guys that I've covered, and it's really hard to rate guys. You know, I can probably come up with the top 20, but not really in no specific order as far as a 1 through 20 type of thing. I can probably get up to a top 7, maybe, top 5, maybe. But it's really hard, man. So I'm just going on this video just talk about the division in general. You know, now besides Wilder, Joshua, and Fury, they all hold titles. Wilder the WBC, Joshua the IBF, and Fury the WBO, WBA. And then after those guys, you have your usual suspects of top contenders: Klitschko, Ortiz, Povetkin, Hay, Briggs, Lucas Brown, Pulev, Stavern. You know, however you want to rate them. You know what I mean? Johan Duhaupas climbing back up the ranks. Malik Scott, Jennings. You know, and then you have like now some of you probably still consider Parker and Joshua. You still consider those guys prospects, but besides those two, then you have your, those that up and coming set of prospects. Some of these guys are rated by the sanctioning bodies. Iju Aganu, part of that Joseph Parker camp. I like him as a fighter, 6'5", about 240, has the build, looks like a champion, 84-inch reach. I would like to see him step up. He has went on to say this was before he had his fight on the Parker versus Haumanu undercard. They were asking him about Artur Szpilka, and he says he is not ready for a Szpilka fight yet. But I still consider him one of the up-and-coming prospects. Tom Schwartz, Michel Wallace, the German guys. I think those are some good fighters. Hughie Fury, obviously, Jarrell Big Baby Miller, Trevor Bryan, Dillian White, Charles Martin, although he lost to Anthony Joshua. I still want to see what he looks like when he comes back, at least for a fight or two. I know he is overcoming a gunshot wound, so I'm not sure when he is going to be back in action. Dominic Brazil. And then you have the set of guys that they're contenders, but they're not the top contenders, but they're not prospects, obviously. And maybe once these guys once some of those top prospects graduate from being a prospect, they can take on the likes of and when I say these guys aren't contenders, I mean top 10 contenders. I'm not saying these guys haven't got title shots before or were previously rated by sanctioning bodies, but guys like Mariusz Wach, Alexander Ustinov, Eddie Chambers, Chris Ariola, Edmund Gerber, Travis Kaufman, Dimitrenko, who's getting ready to fight Parker, Christian Hammer, Derek Chisora, guys like that. Then you have guys who are kind of like the wild card of the division, like Antonio Tarver, Shannon Briggs, guys that have the names. They're much older guys, but they have the name. They're making themselves known on social media, and they're looking for fights. And then there's like that other set of prospects. Well, I mean, you can kind of put them in with the Hughie Furies and Jarrell Millers, but guys who I also think very highly of. And I put these guys slightly behind the other guys because the other guys like Igano, Schwartz, Fury, Miller, Trevor Bryan, those guys are rated by sanctioning bodies. Not to say that these other set of guys cannot beat them, but it is what it is. Okay, then you have guys like and also with that other group with Aganu and Hughie Fury, you have guys like Andrew Ruiz Jr. Forgot to put him in there. Andre Fedosov is another guy you can throw in that batch with like Ariola and Gerber. But then you have that other batch of prospects, Adrian Granat, who I think very highly of, Oscar Rivas, who's can't seem to pass an eye exam and get a license in the U.S., but he's another good prospect. Otto Wallen, another Swedish prospect. All these guys have, 14, 15 fights. LaRon Mitchell, undefeated American prospect, 13-0 with 13 knockouts. He's getting ready to fight Mario Heredia, who was a kid I seen fight in the World Series of Boxing against Joseph Parker. Heredia was a lot better when he weighed a lot less than he does now. He has gained a lot of weight, man. He's damn near 300 pounds. But Mitchell's getting ready to fight him. Heredia just fought Andrei Fedosov. And that was an entertaining fight. David Allen, Adam Konaski, Polish kid out of New York. Alexis Santos, only one loss, and he revenged that loss with a knockout. Matteo Modugno, the Italian heavyweight that I seen fight in the World Series of Boxing. I believe last time I checked, he was like 18-0. Dylan Carmen and Gary Cornish, they're getting ready to fight each other. France Real, who lost to Robert Helenius, and he came back and he beat somebody. I forgot who he fought. But he lost to Helenius, though, but he's still out there. Ed Lattimore, undefeated American prospect, believes he's like 13, 14-0. Trey Morrison, Tommy Morrison's son, one of his two sons that fight, I believe he's like 11 or 12-0. Then after that set of prospects, you have another tier, guys who basically are under 10 fights. And kind of freestyling this, man. I kind of remember all this in my head because I watch all these guys fight, and I'm always looking at these names. Guys that stand out to me as far as that batch of fighters. Junior Fa from New Zealand, 6'6" kid, 250 pounds, was an amateur rival with Joseph Parker. I believe they were both 2-2 against each other in the amateurs. Very good prospect, man. Agile, can move on his feet, good boxing ability. Like to see him, get better. Seen him fight in the World Series of Boxing, so he has experience. I know he fought, did he fight Alexander Usyk? I believe he fought Usyk in the World Series of Boxing. He fought a lot of good top amateur guys in the World Series of Boxing. Junior Fa did. But Junior Fa, somebody that sticks out. Darmani Rock, signed with Rock Nation. I believe he's like 4-0. Yeah, he just beat Mike Howe. He moved to 4-0. Good hand speed, good agility, footwork. Just want to see the kid work on his weight. You know what I mean? Willis Meehan. We know his father, Cali Meehan, fought Layman Brewster back in the day, so he has that fighting blood in him. Kid has heavy hands, man. Willis Meehan versus Junior Fa is a fight I would like to see. I'm not sure they'll pair them two this early in their career, but I like to see those guys fight. Nick Webb, kid out of Illinois, is about 6'5", 250. Looks the part of a heavyweight champion. I believe he's like 8 or 9-0. I know he was a part of the Tyson Fury camp when he was preparing for Vladimir Klitschko for their first fight. And Nick Webb was in that camp. Huey Fury, Young Fury, and another guy who I'm about to mention, Cassius Chaney, has the height, the length, the build, quick hands, pretty, got good balance, good technique. Coming from the basketball court, he was a All-American college basketball player. So he looks pretty good. I like what I see with him. Did I say Alexander Teslenko? Teslenko's good too, man. He's a damn good fighter. Moved his career up to Canada, so he's taking some fights up there. He's undefeated. I believe he only has like 3 or 4 fights. Has a gang of amateur experience. I believe he's like 250 wins with like 20 losses in the amateurs. He's a damn good fighter, man. Good technique. Kind of brings that Eastern Bloc style, but I like what I see, man. I like what I see with him. Nick Webb, UK fighter. Nathan Gorman, another UK fighter. Sergey Kuzman, Russian fighter. Likes to throw up the high guard, chop you down. Seen him fight in the World Series of Boxing a few times in some amateur tournaments. I like him. Tyrone Spong, who has... he has his, kickboxing he was in? He was a former kickboxing champion, and I think he has some MMA fights. He is well versed with combat sports, man. He's a champion, world champion, So I like what I see, and when I seen him fighting his K1 fights, he looked like a better boxer than he did a kickboxer. Like the moments in the fight when he was just boxing, he looked better as a boxer than he does a kickboxer. I like to see how far he goes. I believe him and Nick Webb was going back and forth. I think Nick Webb said he wanted to fight him, or he wanted to fight Nick Webb. I think that they should pair them up and they can fight. Nick Mazurek, another kid from Illinois, has a Polish following. I like his attitude. About 6'4". I think he's like 230. Young kid, young. Really, I think he's like 20, 21 years old, if I'm not mistaken. But I like him from what I've seen. Tayshawn Dong, Zhang Zhili. I've seen those, I think Zhili is better than Dong. I would rate Zhili ahead of Dong. Just, former Olympian. Just looks more fluid as a fighter, in my opinion. And look like he has a little bit more ability than Dong. Although Dong is he's a huge guy. I think he's like 7 feet tall, man. But I think Zhili is more fluid as a fighter. Himi Hio, another New Zealand fighter, smaller heavyweight that I like to watch. So I'm just dropping some names to you guys. I've covered all these guys, man. So I'm trying to just throw some names out there. I know I'm forgetting a lot of heavyweights, man, but I don't want to make this into an hour-long video. But just kind of breaking down the division and what I've seen and some of the prospects I've seen. I know I'm forgetting a lot of prospects. So this wasn't a video to give you every single prospect. I'm just throwing some names out there and just trying to give my opinion about the different tiers of the heavyweight division and what I see. I'm out.